Welcome to WealthRise Stories, where clarity meets knowledge, and knowledge becomes financial power.
Hey guys, be honest with me for a moment. Do you want me to tell you a secret? A secret that could change the way you see everything forever. Imagine this. What if you could guarantee 100% that your next goal would succeed? Not 50-50, not 80%, but absolutely certain. That goal could be starting your dream business, landing the position you've always wanted, finishing that book you've been nurturing for years, or even building a steady, fulfilling relationship. Can you picture that? How would your life change? No more sleepless nights, worrying. No more painful falls from avoidable mistakes. No more what if, or why not me? Sounds crazy, right? Almost like magic. I know, because I used to think the same way. We grow up believing success is some complicated mix of luck, natural talent, perfect timing, and maybe even special connections. We look at successful people and tell ourselves they're so lucky, or they just have something I don't. We treat success like a lottery. You buy a ticket, you hope, and you pray your number hits. Sometimes it does. Most of the time it doesn't. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the truth is that success isn't a game of chance, but a science you can learn and predict? A system anyone can apply to create the results they want. Let me share a short story. Imagine two men standing in front of a wide river, both wanting to get across. The first man is a gambler. He stands on the riverbank, rolling dice, praying the water will dry up, or a magical bridge will appear. He believes in fate, in luck. Maybe one day a miracle will happen, and he'll get across. But chances are he'll stand there forever, or try to swim across completely unprepared. The second man is a bridge engineer. He doesn't pray. He doesn't throw dice. Instead, he studies the terrain, measures the current, calculates materials, drafts detailed plans. He understands tension, gravity, physical laws. He builds step by step with absolute precision. When the bridge is finished, there's not a shred of doubt in his mind. He knows it will hold because he followed a proven scientific process. See, the difference is simple. One relies on hope, the other on creation. Most of us approach our goals like the gambler. We hope, we try, we fail, and we blame fate. But what about the engineer? He doesn't hope the bridge will stand. He is certain it will, because he understands the principles. He has a formula. And that's exactly what the book we're exploring today, Certain Success, is all about. This book doesn't teach you to hope for success. It teaches you how to build guaranteed success. It's not a collection of vague, inspirational stories or generic advice. It's a tool, a detailed blueprint for building your own bridge for achieving any goal you set with the confidence of an engineer. If you're exhausted from trying and hoping, if you're ready to leave randomness behind and embrace a systematic, predictable method to turn dreams into reality, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to share with you a clear, step-by-step roadmap drawn from the core principles of Certain Success. Together, we'll dive into the mindset, the strategies, and the specific actions you need to take so that guaranteed success is no longer a distant idea, but an inevitable part of your life. Are you ready to stop gambling with your life and start building what you truly want? Let's dive in. Hey guys, be honest with me for a moment. Do you want me to tell you a secret? A secret that could change the way you see everything forever. Imagine this. What if you could guarantee 100% that your next goal would succeed? Not 50-50, not 80%, but absolute certainty. That goal could be starting the dream business you've always wanted, landing the position you've been aiming for, finishing that book you've been nurturing for years, or even building a stable, happy relationship. Can you picture it? How would your life change? No more sleepless nights filled with worry. No more painful crashes caused by mistakes. No more, if only. Or why not me? Sounds crazy, right? Almost like magic. I know because I used to think that way. We grow up believing success is some complicated blend of luck, natural talent, perfect timing, and sometimes special connections. We look at successful people and say, they're so lucky or they have something I don't. We treat success like a lottery. You buy a ticket, you hope, and you pray your number hits. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the truth is that success isn't a gamble, but a science you can learn and predict? A system anyone can apply to create the results they want. Think about it through this short story. Imagine two men both trying to cross a wide river. The first man is a gambler. He stands on the riverbank rolling dice, praying the water will dry up or a magic bridge will appear. He believes in fate and luck. Maybe one day a miracle will happen and he'll make it across. But more likely he'll stand there forever or try to swim across with zero preparation. The second man is a bridge engineer. He doesn't pray. He doesn't roll dice. Instead, he studies the terrain, measures the flow, calculates the materials, draws detailed plans. He understands tension, gravity, and the laws of physics. He starts building step by step with absolute precision. When the bridge is complete, there's not a single doubt in his mind. He knows it will hold because he followed a proven scientific process. You see the difference is this one relies on hope, the other on creation. Most of us approach our goals like the gambler. We hope, we try, we fail, and we blame fate. But what about the bridge engineer? He doesn't hope the bridge will stand. He is certain it will stand, because he understands the principles. He has a formula. And that's exactly what the book we're exploring today, Certain Success, aims to teach. This book doesn't teach you how to hope for success. It teaches you how to engineer guaranteed success. It's not filled with vague inspiration or generic advice. It's a tool, a detailed blueprint that helps you build your own bridge so you can achieve any goal you set with the confidence of an engineer. If you're exhausted from trying and hoping, if you're ready to leave luck behind and embrace a systematic, predictable method to turn dreams into reality, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to share a clear step-by-step roadmap distilled from the core principles of certain success. We'll dive into the mindset, the strategies, and the specific actions you need to take to make guaranteed success, not some distant idea, but an inevitable part of your life. Are you ready to stop gambling with your life and start building what you truly want? Let's dive in. If you've been following from the beginning, you probably still remember our goal, not just to read this book, but to turn its ideas into action, into tools that help us design a life we truly want. And today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most important chapters, arguably the foundation of all the certain success we'll talk about later. That is, Chapter 1, Redefine Your Own Success. Sounds simple, right? Success, everybody knows what that is. Money, status, big house, fancy car, fame. Those images have been planted into our minds since we were kids. But I'd bet that those very images might be holding you back, leading you down a path where even if you reach the finish line, you'll still feel empty. Part 1, the common success traps and why they're not enough. Be honest with yourself for a second. Every one of us has at least once imagined a successful life with elements like money, becoming a millionaire, a billionaire, being able to buy anything you want, never worrying about bills again, fame, being well-known, admired, influential. Your name shows up in the media, at big events, social status, a powerful title, a position everyone respects, always being at the top of some field. And I have to admit, these things in and of themselves are not bad at all. Money brings options and freedom. Fame can open doors. Status can help you create big change. The problem isn't in the things themselves, it's in the way we define success based on them. Have you ever asked yourself, if I had all of that, would I actually be happy? I've met many people, and I've gone through this myself, who keep thinking, as long as I hit X, I'll be fine. X could be a certain salary, a particular title, or owning some expensive item. But once you get X, then Y, then Z. That feeling of, I'm good now, usually only lasts a short while before it's replaced by a new goal, a new anxiety, or worse, a sense of emptiness. Just look at the examples around us. There are people who are among the richest in the world, yet they struggle with mental health, broken families, or deep loneliness. There are celebrities adored by millions, but they drown themselves in substances, pressure, and scrutiny to the point they want to disappear. There are people at the peak of power, but they're sleepless, living in fear and never at peace. Why is that? Because they're chasing a definition of success drawn by society, by the media, by external expectations. They're running on someone else's track, and when they reach the finish line, they realize it's not actually theirs. They may be successful by the world's standards, but they've failed to find fulfillment and meaning in their own lives. I remember a point in my own career when I had hit some goals I once thought were the peak. High salary, stable position, recognition from others. From the outside, it looked like I had made it. But deep down, I felt restless, like there was some unnamed longing. I asked myself, is this really all I want? Is this really who I want to become? And the answer was no. That feeling was a sign that I was on the wrong path, even if it was a successful path by someone else's definition. And that's why we need to stop. We need to redefine success in our own terms. A definition that is meaningful, inspiring, and truly belongs to you. Part 2. The 5-layer values. Exercise. Discover what really matters to you. So how do we find our own definition of success? It's not something already out there, waiting to be found. It's something you have to uncover from within. Certain success introduces a powerful exercise that I want to share with you, the 5-layer values exercise. You can also call it 5 layers of why or 5 layers of meaning. It's a simple but effective technique to dig beneath your surface-level desires and uncover your core values, the real drivers behind them. Here's how it works. Wakana 1. Start with a specific goal or desire you currently have. It could be, I want to earn X amount of money per month, I want a bigger house, I want a promotion, or I want to be famous on social media. Write it down. 2. Ask yourself, why is this important to me? Write your answer. Don't worry if it sounds shallow at first. 3. Take your answer from step 2 and again ask, why is that important to me? Keep digging. 4. Repeat this process around 5 times or until you feel you've hit a core value and can't go any deeper. You'll notice that from an initial material desire, you gradually touch deeper emotional and spiritual values. Let's walk through a quick example together. Let's say your initial goal is, I want to earn $5,000 a month. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But now, let's peel back the layers behind that number. Layer 1. Why do I want to earn $5,000 a month? Answer, because I want to live more comfortably and not worry about money. Layer 2. Why is living comfortably and not worrying about money important to me? Answer, so I can have more time for my family, my hobbies, and not live under constant pressure. Layer 3. Why do I want time for my family, my hobbies, and less pressure? Answer, because I want to be a good father, mother, have a balanced life, and be able to pursue my true passions. Layer 4. Why is being a good parent, living in balance, and pursuing my passions important to me? Answer, because that gives me a sense of wholeness, meaning, and allows me to build a positive legacy for my children. Layer 5. Why are wholeness, meaning, and legacy important to me answer, because that's when I feel truly alive, valuable, and at peace in my soul. See what happened there. From a very specific number, $5,000 a month. When we dug deeper, we reached things far more important. Peace, wholeness, life, purpose, self-worth, and legacy for the next generation. Money is just a vehicle, not the destination. If you only obsess over the number, you might hit it. But if your core values aren't being fulfilled, you'll still feel lacking. What matters is understanding why you really want that thing. The number is on the surface. The true motivation lies underneath. Take this exercise seriously. It requires complete honesty with yourself. Don't be afraid of weird or childish answers at first. Just write them down. Because that's you, that's what's buried inside you. Only when you understand these core values can you build a definition of success that is truly personal. Part 3. Writing your personal mission statement. The compass for your life. Once you've completed the 5-layer values exercise, you'll have a list of core values, things that are truly important to you. This is when we turn those discoveries into a practical tool, a North Star for your life, your personal mission statement. A personal mission statement isn't just a nice sentence. It's your compass. It's a promise to yourself, a filter for every decision you make. When you're at a crossroads, you can ask, does this decision align with my mission statement? If it doesn't, maybe that path isn't for you. So how do you write a powerful personal mission statement? 1. Keep it short and clear. It doesn't need to be long or complicated. 1 or 2 sentences is enough. 2. Draw from your core values. What you discovered from the 5-layer values exercise is your main raw material. 3. Focus on who you are, what you do, and what impact you want to create. 4. Make it inspiring. When you read it, you should feel motivated and feel, yes, this is who I want to be. Let me sketch a simple structure to make it easier. I commit to specific actions that express your core values in order to create what, live in what state, so that I can create what impact, serve which deepest core value. Or more simply, my mission is to be who, do what, so that I can create what value and feel, experience what. Examples. From the 5-layer values example, above a mission statement could be, my mission is to live a balanced and meaningful life so I can inspire and leave a legacy of peace and wholeness for my family and my community. Another example, if your core values are creativity and helping others, I commit to using my creativity to create educational content that empowers others to grow their potential and live a life of autonomy. Or if you're someone who is community-oriented, my mission is to help build a strong community where every individual feels valued and has the opportunity to grow to their fullest. Remember, your personal mission statement doesn't have to be perfect from day one. It can evolve and change over time as you grow and as you understand yourself and the world more deeply. What matters is that you have a starting point, a first declaration of intent. Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see every day, your phone screen, your desk, your journal. Read it whenever you feel lost, whenever you need to make an important decision. It will remind you of what truly matters, of the path that is truly yours. We've just gone through a meaningful inner journey in this chapter. We've broken down the old definitions, the success traps imposed by society. We've dug deep to uncover our own core values. And we've learned how to turn those discoveries into a powerful personal mission statement. Always remember this: certain success only comes when you're pursuing your own true goals, not someone else's. Certain success is not about achieving everything society labels as success. Certain success is about achieving what you define as success. It's about living a life aligned with your deepest values. When you do that, you don't just hit goals, you gain peace, joy, and real meaning. Redefining your own success is the first and most important step on the path to creating a life you truly long for. Never be afraid to pause, to ask, and to change direction if you realize you're lost on someone else's road. Now it's time for you to take action. 1. Set aside some time today or this week to do the 5-layer values exercise. Write it down. Be brutally honest with yourself. 2. Then use what you've discovered to draft your personal mission statement. Share your thoughts or even your mission statement in the comments below. I'd truly love to hear what you've discovered. This isn't just about reading a book. It's about applying it and changing your life. In the next chapter, we'll start talking about turning these definitions and this mission into concrete actions. How do we turn my success into a realistic plan? Stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening and for walking this journey with me. Live a life that is certainly yours. Welcome back to the series, exploring the book, Certain Success, a book that I believe can change the way you look at success. In the previous chapter, we laid the foundation for a new mindset, a big, bold ambition. But is that ambition enough? Can dreaming alone turn everything into reality? I bet it can't. And that's exactly why we're here today, in Chapter 2, The Power of Absolute Clarity. Have you ever had a dream? A big idea, but it just kept circling around in your mind, vague and foggy like early morning mist. Something like, I want to be richer, or I want to be healthier, or I want a successful career. Sounds great, right? Who wouldn't want that? But here's the painful truth. Vague, fuzzy goals like that almost never become reality. It's like getting into a car and telling the driver, take me somewhere better without giving an address. The driver is going to look at you confused, and you'll stay exactly where you are. The problem isn't a lack of ambition. It's a lack of clarity. And today we're going to explore why our brain, this incredible super machine, needs clarity so badly, and how to turn distant dreams into a concrete, detailed plan you can start acting on right away. Let's dive into a bit of fun neuroscience. Our brain has a very special gatekeeper called the reticular activating system, RAS. You can think of RAS as a giant information filter. Every second, millions of bits of data from the world around you flood in sounds, images, smells, sensations. If your brain had to consciously process all of that, you'd be overwhelmed instantly. So what does RAS do? It filters out the information it considers important to you and only lets that part into your conscious awareness. How does it know what's important? Simple, based on what you focus on. Think about this. Have you ever bought a new car, say a blue Honda Civic? Before that, you probably hardly noticed blue Civics on the road. But the moment you own one, suddenly you see dozens of them everywhere. It's not that the number of blue Civics suddenly exploded. It's that your RAS has been programmed to prioritize noticing them. It recognizes that this is something important to you. Or another example, when my wife and I were expecting a baby. Before that, I could walk past hundreds of baby strollers and never really see them. But once we started researching baby products, suddenly I noticed baby stores, new parent stroller models everywhere. My RAS was kicking in. That is the power of clarity. When you have a clear, specific goal and you focus on it regularly, your RAS will automatically start scanning your environment for opportunities, resources, people, and information related to that goal. It will open your eyes to things you never noticed before. On the other hand, if your goal is just, I want to be rich, your RAS has no idea what to look for. It doesn't have a clear signal to filter for. That's why people with vague goals so often feel stuck and unable to see a way forward. So how do we program our RAS in the most effective way? How do we turn big dreams into specific instructions for our brain? The answer lies in a formula you've probably heard of. But today we're going deeper and adding two extremely powerful elements. That formula is SMART goal setting. Let's break down each letter. Specific your goal has to be crystal clear, not vague. Instead of, I want to be healthier, think I will run 5 kilometers non-stop in 30 minutes by June. Or instead of I want more money, make it, I will have 1 billion VND in my savings account by December 31st, 2025. The more specific it is, the clearer a map your RS has to work with. M. Measurable. How will you know you've achieved the goal? You need numbers and clear metrics. With Run 5K in 30 minutes, you measure with a timer. With a financial goal, it's your bank balance. This helps you track your progress and know when you've actually succeeded. A. Achievable. The goal needs to be within reach, something you can achieve with your current or developable capabilities and resources. Don't set goals that are completely unrealistic, like, I'll fly to the moon using only my body within a year. That will just crush your motivation. Achievable doesn't mean easy, though. It should still stretch you. R. Relevant. What does this goal mean to you? Does it align with your core values and long-term vision? Don't chase someone else's goals. Your goals must be yours and deeply connected to what you truly want in life. T. Time-bound. This is what creates urgency. Every goal needs a clear deadline. Without a time frame, a goal is just a pretty dream with no completion date. I will lose 5 kilos before this Christmas. I will finish this English course within the next 3 months. A deadline forces you to act and stay focused. At this point, you've got a solid, SMART goal. But certain success doesn't stop there. It wants us to add 2 incredibly powerful elements to turn a goal from a dry to-do item into a blazing source of energy. E. Exciting. Does your goal make you feel excited? Does it make you want to jump out of bed in the morning and get to work on it? If a goal doesn't spark excitement, your motivation will dry up fast. Dig into the deeper reasons why you want it. Joy, freedom, fulfillment, contribution. When a goal carries positive emotion, it becomes an engine inside you. R. Risky. This element rarely gets mentioned, but it's incredibly important. Does your goal push you a bit outside your comfort zone? Does it require you to learn something new? Challenge yourself or accept a bit of risk. Safe goals rarely create breakthrough growth. Risky goals just a bit beyond your current level force you to level up, to tap into potential you never knew you had. This is where the magic happens. Try setting a SMART goal right now. Take one of your big dreams and run it through this formula. You'll feel the difference immediately. Setting clear goals is the first step. But how do we actually install them into our subconscious and our RAS as powerfully as possible? The book introduces a fascinating and highly effective technique that I like to call future newspaper writing. Imagine this. You've already achieved your biggest goal. Total success. Now you're going to write a newspaper article about that success, but not an article you will write someday. It's an article that has already been written about you, as if it has already happened. Here's what you'll do. 1. Choose a specific date in the future. That's the day you've achieved your goal. 2. Write a bold, celebratory headline. For example, Miss A turns 100 million VND into 1 billion in just 2 years. Or Mr. B's business hits $1 million in revenue, disrupts Industry X. 3. Start writing the article content. Who is being talked about? You, your team, your supporters. What specific success happened? Describe it clearly and in detail. When, the exact date. Where did this happen? Your company, an award ceremony, some special venue. Why? Why is this success important? How has it changed your life and the lives of others? How? What challenges did you overcome? What key steps led to this success? Include quotes from you celebrating from people who admire you, from your partners. Describe sensory details. What do you see? Hear, feel as you read that article. The smell of fresh ink, the lights at the awards event, the pride swelling in your chest. This future newspaper writing technique isn't just a writing exercise. It's a mental simulation exercise. It tricks your brain into believing that success has already happened. It powerfully activates your RAS, helping you see the path and believe in your ability to walk it. When your mind can see the picture, that clearly it will automatically start looking for real-world puzzle pieces to complete it. I want you to remember this sentence. It's the guiding star of this entire chapter. Ambiguity is the enemy of success. Clarity is its fuel. Let that line echo in your mind. Whenever you feel a goal is still vague, come back to it. Turn every dream into a detailed, clear, specific, emotionally charged blueprint. We've gone from understanding how the brain works through RAS to applying the SMART-ER formula to shape our goals, and finally to the future newspaper writing technique to strengthen belief and drive action. Now it's time for you to experience this power for yourself. Don't just listen to me talk. Grab a pen and paper right now. Write down one SMART-ER goal. Then set aside time to write your own future newspaper article. Let yourself dream, but in a structured, directed way. When you do this, you're not just writing a goal. You're building a path, a roadmap for your brain, and most importantly, for your life. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into how to sustain motivation and overcome obstacles on the journey of turning clarity into reality. How do we keep the fire burning when challenges show up? Stay tuned. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss any valuable content from Certain Success. Leave a comment below and share your SMART-ER goal and your experience with the future newspaper writing technique. I'd love to hear your stories, too. Thank you for being here. See you in Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Building Unshakable Belief. If you've ever felt like you were so close to success, just one step away, and then some invisible fear or quiet doubt pulled you back, then this chapter is exactly for you. This is not just empty motivational talk about positive thinking. This is a psychological roadmap, a set of practical tools to help you not just hope for success, but know for sure you will succeed. Because you see, the difference between hoping and knowing isn't just a tiny nuance in language. It's an entire universe of difference in how we act and how we experience reality. 1. From fragile hope to solid certainty. Let's start with a question. Have you ever said, "I hope this works out"? Probably many times. And how do you feel when you say that? There's something fragile in it, something that depends on chance, right? Hope is like a kite in the wind. It may fly high, but the string is easy to snap. It depends on the wind, on the weather. It carries a sense of uncertainty because we're not really in control. We hand our fate over to some force outside of us. But what about knowing for sure? When you say, "I know for sure I'm going to hit this goal," the feeling is completely different. It's solid like a mountain. It comes from within. It's not just a wish, it's a self-evident truth in your mind. It doesn't need the wind, it doesn't need luck. It's absolute confidence in your own ability, in your plan, and in the result you're going to create. What's the core difference here? It's the level at which that belief is rooted in your subconscious. Hope is a surface-level thought. It comes and goes. Knowing is a deeply carved belief. It shapes your actions, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. When you know, you don't sit around wondering whether you should act. You just act. You're not fixated on the possibility of failure, you're focused on how to make success happen. And it's exactly those strong, decisive actions, powered by unshakable belief, that create different outcomes. So how do we move from fragile hope to solid knowing? Certain success gives us a powerful technique called the wall of evidence. 2. The wall of evidence technique, building belief from the smallest bricks. Our brain, by nature, is a machine that searches for and reinforces evidence. If you keep looking for proof that you're not good enough, you will find it. On the other hand, if you deliberately look for proof of your ability, your effort, and your successes, you'll find that too. The wall of evidence is how we reprogram that machine. Picture a solid brick wall. Each brick is a piece of evidence, a small win. The more bricks you have, the stronger and more unshakable your wall of belief becomes. How to build your wall of evidence. 1. Have a dedicated notebook or note file. This will be your sacred place to record your wins. It can be a nice physical notebook, a Word document, or your favorite notes app. What matters is that it's easy to access and you can use it every day. 2. Write down every win, big or small. This is the key. Don't just write down big achievements like closed $1 million deal or finished a marathon. Record even the smallest victories throughout your day. This morning, I woke up 15 minutes earlier than usual. I finally finished a difficult task I'd been procrastinating on for days. I worked out for 30 minutes, even though I was tired. I didn't check my phone for one focused hour of work. I helped a coworker through a tough situation. I learned something new from this book. I said no to an invitation that would have distracted me from my goals. 3. Practice this every day. Each night before bed or each morning before you start your day, spend 5 to 10 minutes reviewing and adding to your wall. When you do this, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious. I am capable. I am progressing. I am achieving good things. What's the result? Over time, you'll have a long list of evidence proving that you're dependable, persistent, and capable of hitting your goals. When you face a challenge or doubt creeps in, all you have to do is open your wall. Instantly, your subconscious is refueled with positive energy, and you've got a solid foundation to keep moving forward. 3. Identifying and rewriting your limiting stories. The wall of evidence helps us strengthen the positive from the outside. But what about the stories we tell ourselves from the inside? These stories are often formed in childhood from negative experiences, from other people's words, or even from past failures. We call them limiting stories. For example, I'm not smart enough to do that. I always fail when I start something new. I don't deserve good things. I'm too old, too young to chase this dream. These stories, whether you're aware of them or not, are running your life. They create an invisible ceiling that stops you from acting, stops you from believing in yourself. Our goal is to identify them and rewrite them. Steps to identify and rewrite your limiting stories. 1. Recognize the story. This is the hardest part. Ask yourself, what's stopping me from doing X? Or why do I keep procrastinating on Y? When a negative thought shows up, listen to it. It might be, I'm going to fail anyway. This is too hard for me. People will laugh at me. Write them down. 2. Challenge the story. Then once you've identified it, ask, is this story really true? Is there any evidence that it's not true? This is where your wall of evidence becomes a powerful ally. Who told me this the first time? Is this an absolute truth or just someone's opinion? 3. Write a new story. Now it's time for you to become the script writer of your own life. Write a new story, positive, powerful, and honest about yourself. From I'm not smart enough to I am capable of learning and growing every day. My mind is constantly being sharpened. From I always fail to every challenge is a chance to learn. I am persistent and I will find a way to succeed. From I don't deserve it to I deserve every good thing life has to offer and I'm proud of my value. 4. Repeat and live the new story. Just like a commercial that plays over and over on TV, your new story needs repetition. Read it every morning and every night. Write it down. Say it out loud. And most importantly, act in alignment with it. When you start living according to your new story, your subconscious will accept it as truth, and those old limits will begin to dissolve. 5. The power loop belief. Bold action. Positive results. Reinforced belief. Once you've built a solid wall of evidence and rewritten your limiting stories, you'll start to see a powerful loop form a self-sustaining success engine. 1. Strong belief. Thanks to your wall of evidence and your new stories, you no longer just hope you know you can. This belief sinks into your subconscious, dissolving doubt and fear. You feel an inner confidence, a calm certainty that you're on the right path, and that you will get what you're aiming for. 2. Bold, decisive action. When you know you don't procrastinate, you don't hesitate, you don't wait for perfection, you act. Your actions become stronger, clearer, more persistent, and far more effective than when you were just hoping. You're willing to take risks, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward. 3. Positive results. Naturally strong and consistent actions produce positive results. It could be a successful project, a goal completed, an improved relationship, or a new skill acquired. Even small steps forward are meaningful results. 4. Reinforced belief. And here's the beautiful part. Those positive results, big or small, become new bricks in your wall of evidence. They give your subconscious even more proof that your original belief was right. That in turn makes your belief even stronger. This loop keeps spinning, creating unstoppable momentum. The stronger your belief, the bolder your actions. The bolder your actions, the better your results. The better your results, the stronger your belief. This is a self-running machine that generates success and fulfillment in your life. Chapter 3. Of certain success is not just another chapter, it's an invitation to completely change the way you see yourself and the world. Belief is not some mysterious force or magic. It's a skill you can learn, build, and reinforce. Start building your wall of evidence today. Listen to and rewrite the limiting stories you've been telling yourself. Trust the power loop, because when you truly believe you can, you will find every way possible to make it happen. And that is the secret of certain success that is guaranteed. Thank you for listening. Practice these tools and share your experiences in the comments. I'll see you in the next chapter. In the previous chapter, we dug deep into the power of setting clear goals and cultivating an unshakable belief that we can actually achieve them. We planted the seeds of dreams and desires. But a beautiful garden doesn't just need good seeds. It needs care, a solid layout, and specific daily actions for those seeds to sprout and grow. And here's the important part. Belief alone is not enough. Goals alone are not enough. If you want to achieve certain success that is guaranteed, you have to become the architect of your plan. This is the chapter where dreams start to take shape, where abstract ideas are turned into a structured action roadmap that is detailed and, most importantly, doable. So, how do you turn a massive goal, something that feels way out of reach, into a series of clear actions you can start on today? The answer lies in a method I absolutely love, and it's also the core of this chapter: reverse engineering. What does that mean? Simple. Instead of starting at point A and trying to move forward toward point B, starting with small steps and hoping you'll reach the goal. We do the opposite. We start from point B, your final goal, the clearest possible picture of your success, and work backward, step by step. Imagine you're building a house. You don't start by randomly buying bricks, right? You start with the final blueprint, what the house will look like, how many rooms it has, what style it is. From there, you work backward. Where does the foundation go? How are the walls built? How will the electrical and plumbing systems be installed? That is reverse engineering. To make this clearer, let's take a specific example that many of us may have dreamed about: writing and publishing your own book. A goal that sounds big and pretty intimidating, right? 1. Identify the key milestones on the journey. Our final goal is a completed book, published sitting on a bookshelf or on Amazon with your name on it. Now let's work backward. What do we need in order to have that book? Let's list the key milestones, the major checkpoints along the way. Milestone 1. Complete the detailed outline and book structure. This is the blueprint of your book, its backbone. Milestone 2. Finish the first draft. This is when all your ideas are poured onto the page. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to exist. Milestone 3. Edit and refine the content. Cutting, rearranging, tightening, making the story or ideas more coherent and compelling. Milestone 4. Design the cover illustrations, if any, and format the book. This gives your book its physical or digital form. Milestone 5. Publish and promote. Bringing your book out into the world. Each of these milestones is a mini goal, a smaller target you need to hit along the bigger journey. They help you see progress and maintain motivation. 2. Break each milestone down into weekly projects and daily tasks. Now we zoom in further and turn those big milestones into concrete, manageable actions. Let's pick one milestone as an example. Finish the first draft. Let's say you want to complete this draft within 6 months. Monthly projects break the 6 months into stages. If your book has 12 chapters, then each month you'll need to finish 2 chapters. That's your monthly project. Weekly projects. Now take a specific month. For example, this month I will write chapter 1 and chapter 2. Break that down even more. Week 1, research and write the detailed outline for chapter 1. Week 2, write the rough draft for chapter 1. Week 3, research and write the detailed outline for chapter 2. Week 4, write the rough draft for chapter 2. See from finish the first draft, we now have a much clearer target for each week. Daily tasks. This is the most detailed level, the actions you'll take each day. Take week 2. Write the rough draft for chapter 1. Your daily tasks might look like: Monday morning, write 500 words for the opening of chapter 1. Tuesday afternoon, spend 2 hours developing the second main point of chapter 1. Wednesday evening, reread what I've written and roughly edit 200 words. And so on. You see what's happening. From a massive, intimidating goal, like write a book which feels like an impossible mountain, we now have a series of clear, measurable daily actions. You know exactly what you need to do tomorrow morning. What's the power in that? It eliminates overwhelm and creates momentum from small daily wins. Every time you complete a daily task, you've taken one more step forward. And this method doesn't just apply to writing a book. Running a marathon. The final goal is to finish a marathon. Work backward, finish 21K, 10K, 5K. Work backward again, weekly long runs, speed training endurance sessions. Finally, a specific training schedule for each day. Learning a new language. The goal is to speak fluently. Work backward, reach B2 level, B1, A2. Work backward again, complete a course. Learn 500 basic words. Watch movies without subtitles. Finally, learn 10 new words a day. Practice speaking for 15 minutes every morning. 3. Emphasize the importance of planning for potential obstacles. But a good plan isn't just sunshine and roses. It also includes the rain and storms. Life is unpredictable and obstacles are guaranteed. A true architect doesn't just design a beautiful house. They also make sure the structure can withstand earthquakes and storms. Take some time to brainstorm potential challenges you might face on your journey. Don't avoid them. Face them before they show up. For example, with writing a book. What if I get sick and can't write for a week? What if my job suddenly gets busier and I have less time? What if I lose motivation and get writer's block? What if I receive negative feedback on my draft? And more importantly, create backup plans. If X happens, then I will do Y. If I get sick, I'll fully rest for 3 days, but then I'll add 1 extra hour of writing each day the following week to make up for it, or simply adjust the deadline for that chapter. If work gets busier, I'll cut 1 non-essential leisure activity and use that time to write, or I'll just write 15 minutes a day instead of an hour, just enough to keep the momentum. If I lose motivation, I'll reread the positive feedback from early readers, revisit my original why for writing this book, or simply take a 30-minute walk to clear my mind. This is not pessimism, it's realism. This is how you build resilience into your plan. It keeps you from completely derailing when things don't go your way. You've already built in a plan B, so you can get back on track quickly. I've made this mistake many times myself. When everything was smooth, I was super productive. But just one small disruption, one unexpected obstacle, and I'd easily give up because it felt too hard or I felt out of control. Later, when I started planning for obstacles in advance, I became much more proactive. My mindset was steadier because I knew I was prepared for the worst-case scenarios. The feeling of seeing your roadmap clearly step by step is like having a detailed map in your hands. It turns something that once felt impossible into a series of small, manageable actions. You don't need to see the entire road. You just need the next step, and you know exactly what that step is. That's how the architect of the plan operates. So what's your homework after this chapter? Pick one big goal. You've been nurturing a goal you identified in the previous chapter. Now start from the destination and work backward. 1. Identify at least 3 to 5 key milestones on your journey. 2. Choose one milestone and break it down into weekly projects and specific daily tasks. The more detailed, the easier it is to execute. 3. Finally, spend 10-15 minutes listing at least 3 potential obstacles you might encounter and come up with at least 1 backup solution for each one. Remember, a plan is not a chain. It's a map. You can adjust it, change routes when needed, but having a map is always better than wandering in the dark. In the next chapter, we'll talk about another incredibly important factor in staying on this path: how to maintain motivation and consistency, especially on the days when you feel tired or discouraged. Awesome! Are you ready for another chapter full of game-changing ideas? I believe that after everything we've explored together about getting clear on your goals and building a solid vision, now it's time to dive into how to turn those goals into reality in the most effective and sustainable way. Welcome to Chapter 5 of Certain Success, the domino principle, the most important action. Have you ever felt extremely busy, like your to-do list is endless, your inbox is overflowing? Meetings pile up back to back, and you're rushing from one task to another, like a shuttle that never stops. At the end of the day, you're exhausted. But when you look back, you're not even sure if you actually accomplished anything meaningful. That feeling, I know it very well. That's the trap of being busy, but not effective, an energy-grinding machine that so many of us get caught in. Certain Success doesn't just want us to succeed, it wants us to succeed intelligently. And this chapter is the compass to help us break out of that loop, to turn our effort into intentional, powerful pushes instead of random swings that lead nowhere. Our goal today is very clear: to identify and execute the one action each day that creates the greatest impact. So how do we actually do that? We'll start with a principle that's very well known, but often ignored when it comes to how we live and work day to day. 1. Explaining the Pareto principle. 80-20 in achieving goals. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, is one of the most powerful concepts we can apply to almost every area of life. Its origin is pretty interesting. Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist in the late 19th century, noticed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. Then he realized a similar pattern showed up in other areas, even in the pea plants in his own garden. 80% of the peas came from 20% of the plants. This doesn't just apply to economics or agriculture. It shows up everywhere. 80% of revenue comes from 20% of customers. 80% of complaints come from 20% of defective products. And most importantly for us, 80% of the results you get will come from just 20% of your efforts and actions. Pause for a second and really think about that. If you have a to-do list of 10 items, there's a very high chance that only 2 of them will create most of the value and progress toward your big goals. The other 8 might be necessary, maybe even pleasant, but they won't move the needle in a significant way. The problem is that our brains and our work culture often encourage us to do the opposite. We get obsessed with checking off all the items on the list without distinguishing what's mission critical versus what's trivial. We feel good crossing out the easy tasks, even if they don't move us forward at all. That's exactly why so many people end up busy but not effective. They're spending 80% of their time and energy on the 80% of tasks that only create 20% of the results. The goal of this chapter is to help you flip that. We want you to focus 80% of your energy on the 20% of actions that generate 80% of your results. That means you have to be very smart about what you choose to do. And that's where we come to the core question. 2. Introducing the core question. What one action, if taken, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? This is not just a question. It's a powerful filter, a compass that guides you through the ocean of things you could do. Read this question again slowly. What one action, if taken, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Picture a row of dominoes. You could push each one individually, one at a time, spending a ton of effort and time. Or you could find the very first domino, the most important one. When you push that domino, it creates a chain reaction. The rest of the dominoes fall naturally. And some of them don't even need to be pushed anymore because they've already been knocked over by the chain effect. That is your domino action. It's your leverage point, your power move. To illustrate this, let's look at a few examples. If your goal is to lose weight, your domino action might not be work out. 2 hours every day sounds impressive, but is hard to sustain. But instead, meal prep healthy food for the entire week on Sunday night. Once you've got healthy meals ready, eating right becomes way easier, and going to the gym has more support behind it. If your goal is to grow a YouTube channel, your domino action is probably not film and edit 3 videos a week, tons of pressure, but rather deeply research a hot topic and create a detailed script outline for that video. Once the outline is solid, filming, editing, and uploading become much smoother and faster. Some steps even become almost effortless because you're not wasting time thinking, what should I say? If your goal is to increase sales, your domino action might not be make 50 more calls a day, but optimize your lead qualification process so you only contact people who are actually interested. When you're talking to the right people, every call becomes more effective, and you may need fewer calls to hit your sales targets. See what's happening? This question forces us to think differently. It doesn't ask, what's the most important task? It asks, what task will trigger everything else? It helps us find the root, the choke point. Practicing this question requires honesty with yourself, and sometimes courage to face what truly needs to be done instead of what's easy to do. Step 1. List out everything you think you need to do to achieve your goal. Just brain dump. No judgment. Step 2. For each item, ask yourself, if I do this, will it make other tasks easier or unnecessary? Step 3. Circle or highlight the one with the biggest domino effect. At first, this might feel difficult, especially if you're used to tackling problems in a linear way, one by one. But over time, you'll start to see patterns. You'll see the key leverage points, the true domino actions. And once you've identified your most important action, what's next? Obviously, you need to do it. 3. How to protect the first 1-2 hours of your day to execute your domino action. Identifying your domino action is half the battle. The other half, and often the harder one, is actually doing it. Because there are always hundreds of things pulling at you, emails, messages, calls, last-minute requests. Life is constantly trying to wedge itself between you and your most important work. Certain success encourages us to turn the first 1-2 hours of our day into our golden hours. This is sacred time, non-negotiable, dedicated solely to your domino action. Why the first 1-2 hours? Your energy is at its highest. In the morning, your mind is clearer. Your willpower is stronger. You're not yet drained by the stress and fatigue of the day. Fewer interruptions. Most people are still getting started. Fewer calls, fewer emails. This is your best chance at uninterrupted, deep work. You set the tone for the whole day. When you knock out your most important action first, you feel a strong sense of satisfaction and momentum. That positive inertia carries into the rest of your day. You already know you got the most important thing done. So how do you protect this golden time? Wake up a little earlier. If needed, adjust your sleep schedule. Just 30-60 extra minutes in the morning can make a massive difference. Prepare the night before. Decide on your domino action the night before. Don't waste your morning energy figuring out what to do. Have everything ready so you can start immediately. Turn off notifications, stay away from your phone. This is enemy number 1 of your focus. Put your phone on silent. Leave it in another room if you have to. Don't check email or social media. The world will not collapse if you don't respond for the first 60 minutes of your day. Find a quiet space, somewhere you can focus without distractions. Learn to say no. This is hard but essential. Don't let minor non-urgent requests from others invade this precious window. Politely say no or schedule it for later. Let me share how I apply this myself. For me, the domino action for this YouTube channel is usually writing scripts or doing deep research for an upcoming video. This requires intense focus and creativity. So I built the habit of waking up an hour earlier than I used to. After a couple of simple morning rituals, drinking water, a short meditation, I sit down at my desk, turn off all notifications, and start writing. I don't open email. I don't scroll the news. It's just me and the most important work. After about 90 minutes, once I've completed or made solid progress on my domino action, then I allow myself to check emails and move on with the rest of my tasks. The difference in productivity and mental state has been huge. This isn't some rigid formula. It's an invitation for you to consciously protect the most valuable time of your day. Remember, you can't create more time, but you can use the time you have much more intelligently. 4. Stories of companies that succeeded by focusing on a single core product. The domino action principle doesn't just apply to individuals. It applies to some of the biggest organizations in the world. Companies that achieve extraordinary success often know exactly what their domino is. At the strategic level, they focus on a single core product or service and make it so good that no one else can compete. They don't try to do everything for everyone. They pick one thing and do it better than anyone. Let's look at a few examples. Google. When Google launched the search market, already had big players like Yahoo and Alta Vista. But Google did one thing differently. They focused on one thing, search, and did it better than anyone else. They prioritized speed, simplicity, and accuracy of search results. That was their domino action. By mastering search, they built a rock-solid foundation that later allowed them to expand into Gmail, Google Maps, Android, YouTube. But it all started from one core product executed brilliantly. Apple during Steve Jobs' return. When Steve Jobs came back to Apple in the 90s, the company was on the verge of collapse with a messy, unfocused product lineup. Jobs did something incredibly bold. He cut most of the product lines and kept only a few core categories: desktop computers and laptops for both consumers and pros. Then he focused the entire company's energy on creating a small number of groundbreaking, simple products. The first big domino was the iMac, then the iPod, and later the iPhone. Each product was a domino action, opening a new market and strengthening Apple's brand. They didn't try to launch dozens of products at once. They focused on one, made it exceptional, and used that success as a springboard to the next. Starbucks. In the beginning, Starbucks wasn't the massive global coffee chain it is today. They focused on creating a premium coffee experience, a third place between home and work, where people could relax and enjoy a quality cup of coffee. Their domino wasn't just selling coffee, it was selling the coffee experience. Their focus on quality ambiance and service built a powerful brand, and from there, they expanded globally. They didn't try to sell all kinds of food and drinks from day one. They focused on coffee and the experience around it. These stories all point to one clear truth. Power doesn't come from doing a lot of things. It comes from doing the right thing, the thing with the biggest impact. Focusing on a single domino action lets you concentrate all your resources, attention, and creativity on one point, creating a force that's almost unstoppable. So we've just explored a very powerful principle in certain success, the domino principle. We've learned that 1. The Pareto principle. 80-20 shows us that not all actions are created equal. 20% of efforts produce 80% of results. 2. The core question. What one action, if taken, would make everything else easier or unnecessary, is the tool to identify those 20% actions. 3. Protecting the first 1-2 hours of your day is the key to actually executing your domino action with maximum energy and focus. 4. And finally, the success stories of major companies prove that focusing on one core product or strategic action is the path to explosive growth. Now I want you right after this video to take a moment, grab a piece of paper and a pen, or open your Notes app. Look at the biggest goal you're pursuing right now, the goal we've been clarifying together in previous chapters, and ask yourself that magic question. What one action, if taken, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Write down your answer. That is your domino action. And then make a commitment to yourself. You will protect the first 1-2 hours of your day tomorrow to work on that action. Don't fall back into the trap of unproductive busyness. Become someone who acts intelligently, who knows how to push the first domino and let success cascade from there. I believe in your ability to do this. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about your domino actions in the comments below. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into how to build habits that help you maintain this progress in a sustainable way. Don't miss it. Have you ever felt like you were racing forward at the speed of light, full of energy, and then suddenly drained? One day you wake up and everything feels heavy. The goals that once burned so brightly are now just glowing embers. A wave of boredom and fatigue hits you, and the question, "What am I even doing here?" keeps hovering in your mind. If yes, don't worry. You're absolutely not alone. And that is exactly what we're going to explore together in Chapter 6 of Certain Success Today, Getting Through the Valley of Discouragement. This is not a lesson on how to avoid feeling discouraged. It's a guide on how to face it, understand it, and most importantly, move through it stronger than before. Because every great journey has its own valleys. And how we walk through those valleys is what defines who we are. 1. Normalizing failure and discouragement. An essential part of the process, we live in a world where social media only shows us highlight reels, big wins, glowing success, victorious smiles. Hardly anyone posts about sleepless nights, failed projects, or moments when they wanted to quit. This unintentionally creates a silent pressure. We must always be strong, always positive, always moving forward. But what's the truth? The truth is, discouragement and failure are not signs of weakness. They are a natural, essential part of any journey worth taking. Think about it. Did you learn to ride a bike without ever falling? Learn to swim without swallowing any water? Learn a new language without saying things wrong or feeling completely stuck? Of course not. I still remember the times I started a new project, bursting with excitement, laying out all kinds of perfect plans. Then by week 2 or 3, when real-life difficulties hit and the results weren't what I expected, that feeling of just give up started to lurk around. At first I blamed myself. Why am I so bad at this? Why can't I be more disciplined? But gradually I realized this wasn't a personal flaw. This is the process. Failure is a harsh teacher, but an incredibly effective one. It teaches us lessons that success never could. It points out the gaps in our plan, the weaknesses in our approach, and more importantly, it forges our spirit. Discouragement is a signal that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, that you're pushing your limits. It's not the finish line, it's a rest stop where you pause, reflect, adjust, and recharge. Make it part of the menu of success. When you feel discouraged, instead of panicking, tell yourself, here it is. This feeling means I'm on the right path. I'm learning. 2. Introducing the 2-minute rule. Restarting the engine when you're stuck. So once we've normalized discouragement, but that heavy weight of procrastination is still there, how do we restart the engine? This is where the 2-minute rule works its magic. This rule is so simple that you might doubt how effective it is, but trust me, it's one of the most powerful strategies to break the cycle of procrastination. The 2-minute rule says, when you don't feel like doing anything, just commit to doing it for 2 minutes. Sounds silly, right? Who does something for only 2 minutes? But that's the secret. When your brain is faced with a big, complex, effort-heavy task, its natural tendency is to run. It activates its self-defense mechanism, making you feel bored, resistant, or unmotivated. Committing to just 2 minutes slips past that defense. When you tell yourself, okay, I'll just open my laptop and type 2 sentences, or I'll just change clothes and walk for 2 minutes, or I'll just wash 2 dishes, that initial mental barrier becomes much smaller. The hardest part isn't finishing the task, it's starting. And what's the magic? Very often, once you've started and finished those first 2 minutes, you'll find yourself wanting to keep going. You've created momentum. 2 minutes turn into 5, then 10, and suddenly you've done way more than you planned. I've used this rule many times. On days when I absolutely did not want to work out, I'd tell myself, fine, I'll just put on my shoes and stand outside for 2 minutes. And once I was outside, taking a few more steps, running 5 more minutes, or even finishing the whole workout became much easier. When I felt stuck writing a script, I'd only commit to typing 2 sentences, whatever they are. And more often than not, the flow of ideas would come back. Try it. Next time you feel stuck, discouraged, or procrastinating, use the 2-minute rule. You'll be surprised by the results. 3. Building a support system. A place you can lean on. But there are times when the valley is so deep that even the 2-minute rule isn't enough to pull you out. That's when we realize no one succeeds alone. We all need a solid support system. A support system is like bridges and anchors you can lean on when you feel shaky. It's made up of people you trust, who understand you, who are willing to listen, and sometimes simply be there. Who can be part of this system? Close friends, people who can listen without judging, give honest advice, or just make you laugh. Family, parents, siblings, spouse, those who can offer warmth and unconditional love. Mentors, people who have gone ahead of you, have faced similar struggles, and can give strategic advice and direction. A community or like-minded group, people who are pursuing similar goals and can understand your challenges better than anyone. Building this system requires intention. You have to be the one to open up to share your struggles and true feelings. I remember a time when I was stuck in a project that felt completely hopeless. I called a close friend. I didn't need him to fix my problem. I just needed him to listen to me vent, to hear my fears. And just being able to say everything out loud, knowing someone was actually listening, released a huge part of the pressure. He didn't do anything, and yet he did everything. A support system doesn't just help you release emotions. It gives you new perspectives, solutions you might never have thought of. Most importantly, it reminds you that you're not alone, that you are loved, supported, and capable of getting through this. Nurture these relationships. They are your most precious assets on the certain success journey. More for the difference between quitting and changing strategy intelligently. Finally, this is a crucial distinction that many people get wrong when facing discouragement. When should you keep going, and when should you stop or change direction? We often hear the phrase, "quitters never win." There's some truth in that, but it can also be very misleading. Because sometimes, knowing when to quit is the smartest choice. Let's draw a clear line. Quitting in the sense of giving up. This is when you abandon an important goal purely out of laziness, fear, or minor obstacles. You walk away without learning anything, without reflection. This is what we want to avoid. Changing strategy intelligently or quitting on purpose. This is when you realize your current method is ineffective, your original goal no longer fits, or there is a better path to achieve the outcome you want. This is flexibility. This is wisdom. To tell the difference, ask yourself, does my original goal still matter to me? Does it still align with my vision and core values? Sometimes over time, our goals change. Is my current approach actually working? Or am I just banging my head against a wall? Is it time to try a different approach? What have I learned from the recent failures and challenges? Are those lessons enough for me to adjust and continue? Or are they clearly telling me this path is not for me? Is there another path that could get me to the same or better result more effectively? Think of a ship captain. When he hits a storm or a blocked route, a smart captain doesn't keep steering straight into the hurricane or the wall. He changes course. He finds a safer, more effective way to reach the destination. He's not quitting the trip, he's changing strategy to ensure success. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the very company he founded. Was that quitting? No, Mr. One. He learned, started next, and Pixar then came back to Apple with a completely new vision. That was strategic adaptation. Sometimes what we call failure isn't the end. It's valuable data telling you this way doesn't work. So don't be stubborn for the sake of ego. Be flexible, learn, adjust, and don't be afraid to turn in a new direction if that's the smartest choice. So my friends, getting through the valley of discouragement is not about avoiding it. It's about being prepared for it, understanding it, and equipping yourself with the right tools. We've just walked through some powerful strategies, normalizing discouragement and failure as an essential part of growth. Using the 2-minute rule to break procrastination and create momentum. Building a solid support system to lean on when things feel overwhelming. And finally, learning to distinguish between giving up and intelligently changing strategy so you always move forward in the wisest way possible. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Every time you get through a valley, you become stronger, more resilient, and closer to your own version of certain success. Apply these strategies in your life, and I truly believe you'll feel the difference. Don't forget to leave a comment and share your story or how you've gotten through your own low points. Thank you for listening. See you in the upcoming chapters of Certain Success. Welcome back to our series on the book, Certain Success. Today we're going to dive deep into a chapter that I personally find incredibly important, foundational even, but that often gets overlooked. Chapter 7. The Leverage of Energy and Environment. In previous chapters, we've talked a lot about mindset, about action, about setting goals and overcoming fear. But imagine this for a second. You have the most advanced race car, the most powerful engine, the best tires for grip, and the most skilled driver. But if that car runs out of fuel or the track is full of obstacles, no one bothered to clear, can it actually reach the finish line? Of course not. In the same way, success doesn't come only from a sharp mind or iron will. It also requires a steady source of physical and mental energy and an environment that's designed to support your growth. Our goal over the next 90 minutes is to talk about how to optimize your sleep, your nutrition, and your living, stronger working environment so they actually serve the big goals you've already set for yourself. Motor 1. Energy. The foundation of persistence and creativity. Think about the times you felt completely exhausted. How does that feel? Is it easy to stick with a difficult task when your body feels drained and your mind is foggy? Can you really expect to have creative breakthroughs when your eyes are drooping and everything around you feels like it's moving in slow motion? Definitely not. Physical energy, or more accurately, the lack of it, is the #1 enemy of persistence and creativity. When you're tired, your decision-making ability drops. You snap more easily. Your focus weakens. And of course, your patience evaporates. There's an interesting study showing that when we're sleep-deprived, our brain functions similarly to when we're drunk. Poor judgment, slow reaction times. Yet we regularly steal from our own sleep and then wonder why we can't stay motivated or find solutions to hard problems. On the flip side, when you're full of energy, you feel almost superhuman. Your body is refreshed, your mind is sharp. You face challenges more easily, you can look at problems from multiple angles, and that's where breakthrough ideas are born. Persistence no longer feels like a battle with yourself, it becomes a natural flow. You simply have enough fuel to push through obstacles, learn from failures, and keep going without collapsing. Remember, your brain uses about 20% of your body's total energy. If you don't supply enough fuel to that engine, how can it possibly perform at its best? That's why treating your physical health as important is not a luxury or something you can do later. It's a mandatory investment for anyone who wants sustainable success. 2. 3 small habits. Big changes in your health. You don't have to run marathons or go on extreme diets to see a difference. Sometimes, the smallest changes create the biggest impact. Here are 3 extremely simple habits I'd like you to try. And I'm confident they'll create remarkable improvements in your energy and performance. Habit number 1. Drink a big glass of water right after you wake up. What do you think of that? So simple, it's hard to believe, right? But listen, after 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is significantly dehydrated. Rehydrating immediately doesn't just help restart your internal organs, it also kicks your metabolism into gear and helps you feel more awake and energized. It's like filling up the gas tank after your car has been parked all night. On top of that, this habit helps your body flush out toxins that have built up overnight. I've kept this habit for years, and I can clearly feel the difference: less grogginess in the morning, a clearer head to start the day. Try a warm glass of water with a slice of lemon if you want to boost the detox effect. Habit number 2, walk for 10 minutes a day. In the digital age, we spend way too much time sitting in front of screens. 10 minutes of walking might sound ridiculously small, but the impact is not. Walking improves blood circulation, delivers more oxygen to the brain, reduces stress, and lifts your mood. When you feel stuck out of ideas or just need a mental reset, stand up and walk. You don't have to go far. It could be a loop around your house, a quick walk to a nearby park, or just a few laps around the office. Changing your physical environment and getting some fresh air can be a powerful catalyst for creativity and help you see problems from a fresh perspective. Personally, my best ideas usually don't come when I'm sitting at my desk. They show up when I'm out walking. Habit number 3, prioritize sleep quality. This is the silent hero we constantly underestimate. Sleep is not wasted time. It's when your body repairs itself, restores energy, and consolidates memories. It's not just about sleeping 7 to 8 hours. It's about the quality of that sleep. Here's a simple but powerful tip. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your internal body clock. Another key point, avoid bright screens at least 30 minutes before bed. The blue light from your phone or tablet suppresses melatonin, the hormone that helps you feel sleepy. Instead, read a physical book, listen to soft music, or meditate. Make sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool. High-quality sleep is the solid foundation for steady energy and a clear mind throughout the day. 3. Designing your environment. Less distraction, more focus. Beyond the energy inside you, the environment around you also plays a critical role. Have you ever walked into a messy, cluttered space and felt like your mind became cluttered too? That's not random. Our environment has a direct impact on our mood, our focus, and our productivity. Think of your workspace as a system that supports your goals. You want to design it intentionally to minimize distractions and maximize focus. Physical environment. Tidiness. A clean, organized desk doesn't just look nice. It helps your mind feel less chaotic. Every item out of place is a potential distraction. Make it a habit to tidy your workspace at the end of each day. Lighting use. Natural light if you can. Natural light improves mood and alertness. If not, make sure your lamp provides enough light. Too dim strains your eyes, too harsh is uncomfortable. Temperature. Keep the room at a comfortable temperature. Too hot or too cold can seriously hurt your concentration. Plants. A few small plants can make your space more relaxing, improve air quality, and make the environment more pleasant to be in. Digital environment. Turn off notifications. I can't emphasize this enough. Every ding or vibration is an invitation to walk away from your work. Turn off all non-essential notifications on your phone and computer. Only keep necessary tabs open. When you're working, only keep the apps and browser tabs open that you need for that specific task. Don't let Facebook, Instagram, or news sites lurk in another tab. Use focus tools. There are lots of apps that can block distracting websites or help you use techniques like Pomodoro. Take advantage of them. Clean up your desktop. A chaotic computer desktop with icons everywhere is just like a messy physical desk. Organize your files into folders or keep only what you really need visible. Sound environment, silence. For many people, a totally quiet space is ideal for deep focus. White noise or instrumental music. If you can't get silence, say you work in an open office, consider using noise-canceling headphones with white noise or instrumental background music, especially classical or alpha wave music, to boost focus. Avoid music with lyrics, as it easily hijacks your attention. Your environment is not something random. It's something you can consciously control and design to serve your goals. Ask yourself, is this environment helping me get what I want, or is it holding me back? 4. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is one of the most powerful lines I've ever heard, and it captures the heart of this entire chapter. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What does that mean? Imagine you set a huge goal. I'm going to finish this big project in 1 month. You're motivated, you're fired up, But if your system, your physical energy, your daily habits, your work environment isn't built to support that goal, chances are you're going to fail. If your system looks like this, sleeping less than 6 hours a night, skipping breakfast or eating unhealthy fast food, a messy desk and a phone constantly buzzing with notifications, no movement or exercise at all, then when you face pressure stress or simply a bad day, you won't rise up to the performance level your goal demands. Instead, you'll fall down to the level of energy and focus that your weak system allows. You'll burn out faster, lose focus, make mistakes, and eventually give up. On the other hand, if your system is solid, you sleep enough and sleep well. You have simple daily habits like drinking water and moving your body. Your workspace is tidy and low distraction. You have a reasonably healthy nutrition plan. Then when challenges come, you'll have a strong foundation to lean on. You won't have to use all your willpower to fight fatigue or constant distraction because your system is already set up to support you. Your energy will be steadier, your focus more consistent, and your ability to adapt will be much higher. You'll automatically fall to the level of a strong system instead of a weak one. In short, success is not always about how hard you try. Sometimes it's about how well you design your life. You can't just rely on willpower to overcome an exhausted body or a distraction-filled environment. Energy and environment are powerful levers that multiply the impact of everything you think and do. In this chapter, we've explored an essential side of success that many people ignore: the power of your physical and mental energy and of the environment you live and work in. Remember, taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's a prerequisite for you to give your best to your work, your goals, and the people around you. Right after this, I want you to pick one small habit from what we've talked about. Maybe it's drinking a big glass of water, walking for 10 minutes, or turning off phone notifications for one focused hour. Commit to doing it for 1 week and see what changes. Because in the end, success is not a single destination. It's a long journey. And to walk that journey fully, you need a healthy body, a clear mind, and an environment that has your back. That's how you not only rise up to your goals, but actually stay at the level of your greatest ambitions. Welcome back to our journey of exploring Certain Success, the book that's changing the way we look at success. I believe that through the previous chapters, you've already felt the power of setting clear goals, building resilient habits, and understanding yourself on a deeper level. However, there's a silent enemy that all of us have to face every single day. Something that can steal our time, our energy, and even the opportunities we have to create real value. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's distraction. In a noisy world filled with endless notifications, clickbait headlines, and infinite social media scrolling, the ability to focus deeply is no longer optional. It has become a superpower. And in this Chapter 8, we're going to train that superpower together, the art of deep focus. Our goal is very clear. Learn how to do high-quality work, not just finish tasks, but complete them with excellence and create meaningful results. 1. Analyzing the damage of multitasking on performance and the brain. Let's start with one of the biggest productivity myths that many of us still believe in multitasking. Do you think you can check email, reply to messages, take a call, and write a report all at the same time and still be effective? I'm sure many of us feel proud of our ability to do many things at once. But neuroscience has proven the opposite. Our brain is not designed to handle multiple complex cognitive tasks at the same time. What we call multitasking is actually rapid context switching, constantly shifting your attention from one task to another. Imagine you're trying to juggle 5 balls at once. Every time you move from one ball to the next, there's a tiny moment of instability. Our brain works the same way. Every time you get a notification or decide to check another browser tab, your brain needs a moment, even if it's just milliseconds, to load the context of the new task, and then more time to reload the context of the original task when you switch back. The cost of this switching is not small. Reduced performance studies show that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%. More mistakes. When you're distracted, your error rate goes up significantly. Mental energy drain. Constant switching forces your brain to overwork, leading to faster fatigue, stress, and burnout. Weaker learning. When you can't focus deeply on something, your ability to remember and process new information is compromised. In short, multitasking is not a superpower. It's a silent thief that slowly takes away your ability to produce high-quality work. So how do we fight back? 2. Introducing time blocking and the Pomodoro technique. To counter the damage of multitasking and truly train our ability to focus deeply, we need to intentionally design how we use our time. There are 2 extremely powerful techniques I want to introduce to you: time blocking and the Pomodoro technique. Time blocking. Time blocking is a time management method where you schedule almost everything in your day, including blocks of time dedicated to specific tasks. Instead of just having a long to-do list, you assign specific blocks of time in your calendar for each task. How to do it? 1. Identify your most important tasks. Each day, pick 1 to 3 core tasks that require deep focus. 2. Schedule them. Open your calendar. Google Calendar, Outlook, or a notebook, and assign fixed time blocks for those tasks. For example, 9:00–11:00 a.m. Write Project X, report 1:00–2:00 p.m. Respond to important emails. 3. Protect those time blocks. Treat them as the most important appointments of your day, non-negotiable, unless there's a truly serious reason. 4. Include breaks and other activities too. Don't forget to schedule breaks, exercise meals, email time, and meetings. Benefits: fewer decisions. You no longer have to constantly ask, "What should I do now?" It's already planned. More intentional control. You control your schedule instead of letting your schedule control you. Clear boundaries helps you say no to distractions when you're in a focus block. Your values show up on your calendar. Your time allocation reflects what you actually prioritize. The Pomodoro technique. Once you've created large time blocks, you can break them down and use the Pomodoro technique to maintain maximum focus within those blocks. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. It uses a timer to break work into intervals with short breaks in between. How to do it? 1. Choose a task. Pick a specific task you want to work on. 2. Set a 25-minute timer. This is 1 Pomodoro. Focus entirely on that task for the full 25 minutes. No interruptions. 3. Take a 5-minute break. When the timer goes off, take a short 5-minute break. Stand up, walk around, drink water, stretch, or look out the window. Avoid screens during this break. 4. Repeat after 4. Pomodoros, 4x 25 minutes of work, plus 4x 5-minute breaks. Take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. Benefits: easier to start. Committing to only 25 minutes of focus doesn't feel as intimidating, so it helps you overcome procrastination. Prevents burnout. Regular breaks refresh your mind and help sustain energy. Trains distraction resistance. You practice pushing away distractions during each 25-minute focus sprint. Improves time awareness. You'll gradually understand how long tasks really take you. By combining time blocking with Pomodoro, you create a solid framework. Time blocking helps you allocate your time proactively to important work, and Pomodoro helps you maintain high-intensity focus inside those blocks. 3. How to create rituals before and after each deep work session. There's a saying, we are creatures of habit. The brain loves predictability. And we can use that to our advantage by creating rituals, small consistent sequences of actions to signal to the brain when it's time to turn focus on and when it's time to turn it off. Say pre-work ritual. The goal of this ritual is to draw a clear line between the busy outside world and your deep workspace. It helps you warm up your brain and get ready for high-quality work. Prepare your environment. Tidy your workspace. A clean desk helps create a clearer mind. Turn off notifications, put your phone on silent, or leave it in another room. Close all unrelated browser tabs. Prepare what you need. A glass of water, a pen, paper, anything you might need so you don't have to get up mid-session. Prepare your mind. Write down the goal of the session. Spend 1 to 2 minutes writing exactly what you want to accomplish in this session. It creates clarity and direction. Take a few deep breaths. This calms your nervous system and puts you in a grounded state. Play instrumental background music if it helps you. Some people find that non-lyrical music boosts focus. Say a short affirmation to yourself. For example, I'm going to focus fully for the next 25 minutes. My own ritual usually looks like this. I pour a big glass of water, clean up my desktop screen, open my Notes app, and write 3 bullet points of what I want to get done in the time block, then put on my noise-canceling headphones. That's the signal to my brain. It's work time. B. Post-work ritual. This is the part most people skip, but it's equally important. A closing ritual helps you detach from the work cleanly and avoid leaving open loops in your mind. Quick review and note-taking. Summarize what you accomplished. Write down what you finished, even if it's small. This gives you a sense of progress and motivation. Plan the next step. If the task isn't done yet, jot down what you need to do next time. This lets your brain offload information instead of holding it in working memory. State change. Stand up and move. Take a few steps, stretch, or look outside. Get your blood flowing and your eyes off the screen. Switch activities. If you were writing, switch to reading. If you were thinking hard, do something more physical. Reward yourself. A cup of tea, a favorite song, or simply a moment to enjoy the plants in your room. A closing ritual teaches your brain that the session is truly done, so you can actually rest. This is crucial to avoid the feeling that your mind is still working when you're trying to relax, which often leads to mental fatigue and burnout. 4. The importance of regular digital detox. All of the techniques above are powerful, but we also have to face one tough reality. We live in a world that is engineered to be addictive. Apps, social media, and digital platforms are optimized to grab and hold your attention as long as possible, constantly feeding you little dopamine hits through notifications, likes, and endless new content. This is why we need to talk about digital detox, periodic breaks from digital devices and the internet. It means intentionally disconnecting for a specific amount of time. Why is digital detox so important? Restores your attention. It gives your brain a chance to reset its natural ability to focus without constant stimulation. Boosts creativity. When you're not being bombarded with information, your mind has room to wander, imagine, and generate new ideas. Improves sleep quality. Screen time at night, especially blue light, disrupts your circadian rhythm and makes it harder to sleep. Unplugging before bed can lead to deeper, better sleep. Reconnects you with real life, more time for family, friends, nature, and hobbies without the distraction of screens. Reduces stress and anxiety. The pressure to constantly stay updated and not miss out, FOMO, can create significant mental strain. How to do a digital detox. Start small. You don't have to give up everything at once. Start with small steps, 1 phone-free hour a day, for example, during meals or the hour before bed. No phone in the bedroom. Turning off all non-essential app notifications. Only checking email and social media at specific times. Gradually extend it. Once you're used to it, try longer periods, a phone-free afternoon on the weekend. A full day without digital devices. A vacation where you don't constantly check work or social media. Find alternatives instead of scrolling. Read a physical book. Go for a walk, draw, play, music, cook, or have in-person conversations. Digital detox is not a sacrifice. It's a gift you give to your brain and your soul. It's about reclaiming control of your attention from algorithms and starting to live a more intentional, meaningful life. I challenge you to try it, even just 30 minutes a day, and see what happens. You might be surprised by what you discover. So that's our journey in this chapter. From recognizing and eliminating the enemy of multitasking, to equipping ourselves with powerful tools like time blocking and the Pomodoro technique. We've learned how to create sacred rituals to start and end our deep work sessions so our brains can operate at their best. And finally, we've re-examined our relationship with the digital world through the lens of digital detox. Deep focus is not a privilege reserved for a select few. It's a skill that can be trained. And it's the foundation for doing high-quality work and achieving certain success in any field you pursue. Remember, every moment of deep focus is a moment you're building something of real value. Cherish it, protect it, and turn it into your own superpower. In the next chapter, we'll talk about another equally important element for sustaining your energy on this journey, the art of rest and recovery. See you there. Welcome back to the book Certain Success and to our YouTube channel. If you've been following along from the beginning, we've already talked about vision, goals, planning, and relentless execution with deep focus. Together, we've built a solid foundation for the journey of conquering your goals. But there's a harsh truth I need to say right from the start, a truth many people ignore or are afraid to face. Success is not a straight line. Definitely not. Life does not operate according to some perfect script you wrote on day one. There will be unexpected obstacles, unforeseen turns, and moments where you lose your way. And this is exactly when we need to talk about Chapter 9, Review and Recalibration. Have you ever followed GPS and suddenly it says, recalculating route? Or picture a pilot flying a plane across continents. They don't just hit autopilot and go take a nap. They constantly monitor readings, make small course corrections, respond to wind turbulence, and all kinds of other factors. The road to success works the same way. Your initial plan is a great starting point, a carefully crafted route. But it's rarely the most optimal path from A to Z. Reviewing is not a sign of weakness, failure, or proof that you did something wrong. On the contrary, it's a sign of intelligence, flexibility, and adaptability. It's how you make sure that no matter what happens, you're still moving forward in the right direction or discovering an even better direction. So how do we do this effectively without feeling overwhelmed or like we're failing? I use a very simple but incredibly powerful framework, just 3 questions you can ask yourself at the end of each week or each month, depending on your work cycle. Remember or save these 3 questions, because they'll serve as your compass. To 1. What worked well in the past week, a month? Oh, and hey, never skip this step. We have a natural tendency to zoom in on what's wrong, what we didn't achieve. But taking time to recognize and celebrate small wins, even something as simple as finishing a task on time or waking up early 3 days in a row, is extremely important. This keeps your motivation alive, strengthens good habits, and helps you see which strategies are effective and worth doubling down on. Be specific. Don't just say everything was fine. Instead, think, this week I finished my report a day early and got very positive feedback from my boss, or I worked out 4 times this week, 1 more than my goal. Concrete recognition helps you understand more clearly what led to those successes. 2. What didn't work well or didn't work as expected? This is when we face reality, but with the mindset of a scientist, not a judge. Don't look for excuses or someone to blame. Just observe objectively. What did you try that didn't give you the results you wanted? Did you set a goal that you didn't reach? For example, I didn't spend as much time learning English as I planned. I kept getting distracted by my phone and social media in the evenings. Or Project A was delayed because I spent too much time on the initial research phase. The important thing is, don't beat yourself up. Just record the data. 3. What will I do differently next week and month? This is the most important question, the one that turns review into action and reflection into real change. Based on what you learned from the first 2 questions, how will you adjust? What will you experiment with next? Continuing the examples above. Next week, I'll turn off phone notifications and leave my phone in another room for 1 hour each evening so I can focus fully on studying English. Or, for Project B, I'll set a fixed time box for the research phase and stick to it strictly, or I'll look for ways to delegate part of that work. Set specific, measurable, realistic actions you can start right away. Small, consistent changes create big differences over time. The mindset of a scientist: experiment, measure, and optimize. When you do these review sessions, you're training yourself to think like a scientist working in the lab of your own life. Every action you take is an experiment. Every result you get is data. A scientist doesn't consider a failed experiment a personal failure. They see it as data-valuable information that tells them what doesn't work so they can adjust their hypothesis, change the variables, and run a new experiment. You're the same. Don't fear failure. Don't fear outcomes that don't match your expectations. See them as lessons, as feedback that helps you refine your method. Keep experimenting. Keep measuring results. Keep analyzing the data and optimizing your process. That's how you keep progressing no matter how bumpy the road gets. Steadfast with the vision, flexible with the method. This is a key point where many people get stuck. They confuse changing the method with abandoning the vision. That's not how it works. Imagine you're driving from Hanoi to Saigon. Saigon is your vision, your final destination. At first, you choose the north-south highway. That's your method. But halfway there's a major accident, or you hear about a new coastal route that's more scenic and faster. Do you still want to reach Saigon? Of course you do. So you look for another route, maybe the national highway, a coastal road, or even flying, if that makes more sense. You stay steadfast with the vision getting to Saigon. But you're flexible with the method, the route you take. Never abandon your big dream just because your initial method didn't work. Your first plan is simply your best guess based on the information you had at the time. As you gather more information from your weekly reviews, you need the courage and intelligence to adjust your approach. The story of Instagram. A lesson in recalibration. To make this even clearer, let's go back in time to the early 2010s, a period when mobile apps were exploding and hundreds of ideas were fiercely competing. Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, 2 talented founders, did not start with the Instagram we know today. They started with an app called Bourbon. What was Bourbon? It was a very complex all-in-one app. It let users check in at locations, make plans with friends, earn points, play games, and share photos. Basically, it tried to do way too many things at once, and as a result, nothing really stood out. Users felt confused and didn't really know what to use Bourbon for. However, as they tracked usage data and listened to user feedback that was their version of review sessions, Kevin and Mike noticed something important. Even though Bourbon had a ton of features, users especially loved one thing: and the ability to share photos with filters. They spent most of their time editing and posting photos. That was the turning point. Their vision was about connecting people, helping them share experiences and stories. But their method, Bourbon, wasn't working well. They were brave enough to recalibrate. They stripped away almost everything from Bourbon and kept only the core: sharing photos with filters. And just like that, Instagram was born. The rest, as they say, is history. From a complicated, little-known check-in app, Instagram became a massive social platform with billions of users worldwide. What's the lesson here? Kevin and Mike were unwavering in their vision of connection and sharing, but extremely flexible with their method. They didn't cling to bourbon out of ego. They listened to the data they reviewed, and they changed monthly, quarterly reviews. Beyond your weekly reviews, using the 3 questions above, you should also set aside time for monthly or quarterly reviews. These will be deeper sessions where you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, your long-term goals, your core values, and whether you're still on the right path. Sometimes, you may even need to adjust your medium-term goals if the market or your circumstances have changed significantly. You see, success is not a straight line. It's a zigzagging path that requires constant reviewing, learning, and adjusting. It's not just about having a good plan. It's about having a system for continuously improving that plan, just like a scientist working tirelessly in the lab. Make review and recalibration a non-negotiable part of your journey. It will help you not only achieve success, but also sustain it, no matter how much things change. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into T's next chapter topic. See you there. You know, when we read a book or follow a video series on a certain topic, we tend to focus on absorbing information. We underline, take notes, try to remember formulas and steps. But there is a huge difference between knowing something and living it. And now we're at Chapter 10, the final chapter of Certain Success, titled Living with a Certain Success Mindset. This is not just a chapter to wrap things up. It's an invitation, a challenge for you to not only understand this philosophy, but to embody it. Our goal here is no longer about achieving one specific goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve any goal. Sounds powerful, doesn't it? Let's dive in together. Turning techniques into habits, into instinct. Throughout the previous chapters, we've explored a whole range of powerful principles and techniques, from setting clear goals to vivid visualization, from effective time management to facing fear and failure. Each tool has its own power, but their true value doesn't lie in you knowing what they are. It lies in you turning them into a natural, inseparable part of who you are. Think about learning how to drive a car. At first, everything feels awkward and clumsy. You have to focus on every action: clutch shift, gears release, the clutch press, the gas check, the mirrors turn on the signal. Everything requires conscious attention. But then, after repeating those motions hundreds, thousands of times, they become instinct. You drive without thinking through every step. Your hands turn the wheel automatically, your feet brake and accelerate almost on their own. You've absorbed that skill into your body. In the same way, the principles of certain success work like that too. At the beginning, sitting down to visualize your goals might feel a little weird. Laying out a detailed step-by-step plan might feel time-consuming. Pushing yourself through procrastination might feel hard. But if you keep at it, if you practice these things every day, even in small ways over time, they become your natural reflex. Clarity stops being a technique and becomes the way you see the world. Perseverance stops being an effort and becomes part of your character. The ability to see solutions in every problem stops being a tool and becomes the instinct of someone with a growth mindset. You no longer have to try to apply these principles. They become part of you, a built-in feature of your personal operating system. To get there, you need to practice on purpose. Start with small actions, repeat them consciously, and then trust me, they'll sink deep into your subconscious. The real goal is personal growth throughout the journey. But perhaps the core point Chapter 10 wants you to truly grasp is this. The real goal is not just to achieve one specific thing, a house, a salary, a title. It's to become the kind of person who can achieve any goal. This is about personal growth throughout the journey. When you pursue any goal, big or small, you're going to face countless challenges, obstacles, and sometimes failures. And that is exactly the best part. Because each obstacle is not a barrier, it's a gym for your mind, your spirit, and your will. When you learn to overcome procrastination, you build discipline. When you figure out how to solve a problem, you develop creative thinking. When you face your fears, you strengthen your courage. When you fail and get back up, you increase your resilience. Every time you apply a principle of certain success, you're not just moving closer to your goal, you're sharpening who you are. You're becoming a stronger, wiser, more steadfast version of yourself. And that upgraded version of you, that grown, matured you, is the greatest success of all. When you become someone who can persist through adversity, who can clearly envision the future, who can take decisive action, then achieving your goals is no longer a question mark. It becomes an almost inevitable outcome. Because you've equipped yourself with the qualities and skills that anyone who wants to succeed must have. Picture this: you want to build a skyscraper. The goal is not only to have that one skyscraper. The goal is to become the architect, the engineer, capable of designing and building any skyscraper. Once you have that capability, the first building is just proof of your ability, and you can build more, even greater ones. That is the essence of certain success. It's not a magic formula to get one thing. It's a life philosophy, a way of being a full upgrade of who you are so you can conquer anything, applying this mindset to every area of your life. Now, once you've internalized this mindset, don't limit it to just one area of your life. The beauty of the certain success philosophy is its universality. You can apply it to every aspect of your life. Let's talk about your health. You want better health, a more balanced body. Apply clarity to set specific health goals. I will lose 10 pounds in 3 months, or I will run for 30 minutes, 4 times a week. Apply visualization to see yourself full of energy, strong and healthy. Apply decisive action to start eating healthier and working out consistently. Apply perseverance when you feel tired or want to give up. Apply learning and adapting when a workout plan isn't working well, or in your relationships from family and friends to co-workers. You want more meaningful relationships. Use clarity to define the kind of connection you desire. Use focus to really listen and understand others. Use decisive action to reach out. Spend quality time and show appreciation. Use perseverance. When conflicts or misunderstandings arise, actively seek to repair and rebuild trust. The problem-solving mindset of certain success will help you move through disagreements, build bridges, and create stronger connections. Even in your finances or career development, you want to increase your income and build a solid career. Set clear, specific financial goals. Visualize the life you'll have when you reach financial independence. Take decisive action by investing in yourself, learning new skills and seeking opportunities. Stay persistent with your savings and long-term investment plans, even when the market is volatile. When you begin to view every area of your life through the lens of certain success, you'll notice something amazing. You don't just achieve what you set out to do, you become stronger, more confident, and more capable of handling anything life throws at you. Your life stops being a random sequence of events and becomes a masterpiece you actively create. A powerful message claim, the power to shape your own life. And now we've come to the end of this book, at least in theory. The final, most powerful message I want you to take with you, not just from Chapter 10, but from the entire certain success philosophy, is this: you are the architect of your life. No more waiting for luck. No more vague hope that things will somehow get better. No more living as a victim of circumstances or fate. You now hold the tools, the map, and most importantly, the inner resources to build anything you can imagine, to create any life you truly want. This book has not given you the final answer to every problem. Instead, it has given you a way of thinking, a belief and action system, so that you can find your own answers. It has turned you from a passive observer into an active creator, from someone who merely hopes into someone who acts, from a dreamer into a builder. The power is not in this book. It's not in these videos. The power is in you. It lies in your ability to define clearly what you want, believe fully and deeply that you can achieve it, Plan meticulously. Take bold, consistent action without giving up. Learn and adapt along the way. Start today if you haven't already. Choose to live with intention, with purpose, and with the unshakable belief that success is certain for you. Not because you're lucky, but because you have chosen it. You have decided it. You have built it. Because success is not a destination, it's a way of life. And when you live with a certain success mindset, you don't just achieve success, you become that success. Thank you for walking with me through this meaningful final chapter. Remember, this is not a goodbye. It's a new beginning, a beginning of the life you truly deserve. I'll see you again in future conversations, or maybe in the middle of your own brilliant success story. If you've been following along from the earlier parts, you'll see that we've already gone deep into the core principles, mindsets, and foundational strategies. We've talked about the importance of defining your own version of success, the power of clear goals, and how to build an unshakable mindset. But knowing is one thing, doing is another. How many times have we read a great book, watched an inspiring video, nodded along in agreement, and then did absolutely nothing afterward? Knowledge that isn't applied is just informational weight. It's like having a treasure map but never picking up a shovel. Today we're done with theory. We're rolling up our sleeves. I know you're hungry for action, hungry to see real change in your life. And that's exactly why I created this 7-day action plan. This is not some vague roadmap. It's an extremely specific step-by-step guide so you can turn everything we've learned into your first real moves, create that initial leverage, and build unstoppable momentum. Think of this as the warm-up for your success engine. Just 7 days, but if you commit to doing this seriously, you'll be surprised by what you can accomplish. Are you ready? Let's begin. Day 1. Write your personal mission statement and define your version of success. Your first day is not about rushing into work. It's about coming back to yourself. I've talked a lot about why you need a personal mission statement and why your own definition of success matters more than any definition pushed on you by society or advertising. It's your North Star, your inner compass that keeps you from getting lost in a world full of noise, pressure, and endless choices. What is your personal mission statement? It's your answer to these questions. Why do I exist? What legacy do I want to leave in this world? What truly matters to me? It doesn't have to be a long essay. Sometimes it's just a few short, punchy sentences, but full of power. My example might look like to inspire, empower, and connect people with their true potential through stories and knowledge shared with honesty and heart. What does success look like for you? Be specific. It's not just money or status. Success for you might be, I have quality time with my family every evening, or I feel fulfilled contributing to meaningful projects, or I have a strong, healthy body and feel energized every day. Write these things down clearly. When you can see it, you can pursue it. Your action for day 1. Find a quiet moment. Turn off all distractions. Grab a pen and paper or open a document if that works better for you. Write your personal mission statement. Then, write down your personal definition of success with at least 3 to 5 specific aspects. Don't rush. Let your most honest thoughts come through. This is the foundation for everything you'll build from here on out. Day 2. Choose one big goal and write it using the SMART R formula. Now that you have your compass, it's time to pick a destination. I know you probably have a lot of things you want to achieve. But for these 7 days, and to create strong initial momentum, we're going to focus on just one big goal. Why? Because focus creates power. If your energy is spread too thin, you won't move the needle much anywhere. This goal should be something you truly want, something that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. And we're not going to write it in a vague, fluffy way. We're going to use the SMART ER formula we talked about. S. Specific. Instead of, I want to be healthier, say I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours. M. Measurable. How will you know you've hit it? I want to increase revenue by 20% next quarter. A. Achievable. It should stretch you, but still be within the realm of possibility. I want to reach JLPT N3 in Japanese within 6 months. If you're starting from 0 N1 in 3 months is probably not realistic. R. Relevant. Does this goal align with your mission statement and your definition of success? Does it matter to you? T. Time-bound. Give it a clear deadline. I will finish the first draft of my book by December 31st this year. And don't forget the 2 letters I love most. E. Exciting. When you think about this goal, does your heart beat a little faster? Does it spark passion in you? R. Rewarding. When you achieve it, will the reward emotional or material be big enough to be worth the effort? Your action for day 2. Based on your mission statement and your definition of success, choose one big goal you want to focus on right now. Then, write that goal out in full detail using the SMART framework. Read it back to yourself. Feel it. Make sure it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, and above all, exciting and worth it. Day 3. Build your wall of evidence with at least 5 past wins. Before we charge forward, we need to refuel mentally. When you're facing a big goal, it's easy to feel intimidated or doubt your abilities. That's where the wall of evidence comes in. Your wall of evidence is a list of times you've overcome challenges or achieved something you're proud of in the past. They don't have to be epic achievements. A win might be, you lost 2 pounds. You finished a difficult school or work project. You learned a new skill: guitar, cooking, coding. You saved up a meaningful amount of money. You got through a tough emotional period. You finally cleaned that messiest room in your house. You stuck to an exercise routine for 1 full week. The purpose of the wall of evidence is to remind you, hey, you've already done hard things. You can do this too. It rebuilds your self-belief and gives you an internal source of motivation that no one can take away. Your action for day 3. Grab a sheet of paper or open a new document. List at least 5 past wins. Go into detail. What did you do? How hard was it? How did you push through? How did it feel when you succeeded? Don't be shy about being proud of yourself. Read this list whenever you feel discouraged. Let that confidence rise back up inside you. Days 4 to 7. Identify and execute your daily domino action. Now it's time to turn energy into momentum. The last 4 days of this 7-day plan are all about consistency and small intentional actions. We're going to apply the domino action principle. You know how one small domino can knock over another one that's much bigger. Similarly, one small, well-chosen action can create a chain reaction that leads to much bigger moves, and ultimately, your big goal. What is a domino action? It's the smallest, easiest action you can take today that has the biggest impact on moving you closer to your big goal. It's the tiny but crucial brick you lay down every single day. How do you identify your domino action? Look at your SMART goal from day 2 and ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take right now that moves me 1% closer to this goal? Examples. If your goal is to write a book, your domino action might be writing 100 words or outlining one small section. If your goal is to run a marathon, your domino action might be walking for 15 minutes or researching proper running shoes. If your goal is to learn a new language, your domino action might be learning 5 new vocabulary words or watching a short video in that language. If your goal is to increase revenue, your domino action might be sending one personalized email to a potential client or spending 15 minutes researching your market. The key here is 1 action per day. Don't try to do everything at once. The goal is to build habit consistency and sustainable momentum. When you complete your domino action each day, you get a small win, and those small wins compound into big results over time. Your action for days 4, 5, 6, and 7. Each morning or the night before, spend 5 minutes deciding what your domino action will be for that day. Make sure it's small, easy to execute, and directly connected to your big goal. During the day, do it. Don't overthink. Don't delay. Don't negotiate. Just do the thing. After you've done it, write it down. Check it off on a calendar. Put it in your journal. Feel that sense of satisfaction. I moved forward today. And that's your 7-day action plan. Just 7 days, but 7 days that can completely shift the way you see yourself and how you approach your big goals. Remember, certain success is not a destination. It's a journey made up of consistent, intentional actions. This plan is your first push, the initial shove that gets the flywheel spinning. Don't underestimate how powerful simple can be. The power lies in your repetition and your commitment. I believe you can do this. Drop a comment below. What goal are you starting with? What's your first domino action? And share it with the community so we can build momentum together. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to maintain motivation, overcome obstacles, and turn these tiny domino actions into a continuous flow of success. I'll see you there. But for now, start today. We've been on a long and fascinating journey together, haven't we, exploring every page, every idea in certain success. More than 120 minutes of listening, reflecting, and probably quite a few aha moments. You've absorbed a ton of valuable insights, from building the right mindset to creating effective habits to overcoming your inner barriers. And now, as we're nearing the end of this journey, maybe it's time to pause for a moment and distill the essence of it all. If I had to choose just 3 most precious gems, 3 core messages I'd want you to carry with you and guard carefully in the backpack of your life, what would they be? This is the part where we'll crystallize everything, wrapping it all up into 3 golden principles that are easy to remember and easy to apply, so that whenever you feel lost or need a reminder, you can pull them out and let them light up the path you're on. So without keeping you waiting any longer, let's jump into the 3 most important core points from certain success. Core point number 1. Clarity is power. You cannot achieve a blurry goal. Sounds obvious, right? But let's be honest with each other. Have you ever felt busy, felt like you were working hard but weren't really sure where you were going? Or whether what you were doing was actually leading you to where you wanted to be? That's exactly when the lack of clarity is draining your time and energy. Imagine you're driving and trying to get to a brand new place. If all you know is somewhere down south, where are you going to end up? Probably somewhere in the south, sure. But is it the destination you actually wanted? You'll burn a ton of gas, waste a lot of time, and maybe get lost along the way. But if you punch the exact address into your GPS, no matter how winding the road is or how bad the traffic gets, you're still on the right path, and the destination is inevitable. This is a lesson I learned very deeply in the early days of building this YouTube channel. Back then, I made videos based purely on what I felt like, whatever I thought was kinda interesting. The content was all over the place. Viewers had no idea what I was really about. Views were tiny, and I had no idea how to grow. I thought I was trying hard, but really, I was trying hard in a completely aimless way. It wasn't until I sat down and wrote out line by line. What is the main goal of this channel? Who exactly is the audience I want to serve? What core value do I want to deliver? What kind of content will best help me do that? Only when everything became crystal clear did things finally start to shift. Ideas came more easily, scripts were more structured, and most importantly, I knew that every video I made was serving a larger purpose. So ask yourself, what is your goal? How specific is it? When do you want to achieve it? What are you going to do to get there? Don't be afraid to spend time defining it. Write it down, sketch it out, say it out loud. When you know exactly what you want, it's like the universe starts rearranging things to help you, and your brain will automatically begin scanning for solutions and opportunities. Clarity isn't just a tool, it's an endless source of power. Core point number 2. Your beliefs shape your reality. Treat them like your most valuable assets. From clarity of destination, we move to something just as important, your belief in your ability to get there. Your beliefs aren't just thoughts. They're the quiet architects of your life. They are the soil into which you plant the seeds of your goals. If that soil is dry and overrun with the weeds of doubt, even the best seeds will struggle to sprout and grow. Have you ever told yourself, "I can't do this," and then surprise, you failed? On the flip side, remember the times when you told yourself, "I will absolutely get through this," and then you actually did. That's not a coincidence. That's your beliefs at work. Belief creates a kind of ripple effect in your mind. It shapes how you see problems, how you respond to challenges, and even how you show up to the world. I still remember how insecure I used to feel about my voice. When I first started doing podcasts or videos, every time I listened back to myself, it made my skin crawl. I kept thinking, who would ever want to listen to me? My voice is nothing like those professional speakers. That negative belief held me back a lot. I was afraid to record, afraid to show up, afraid to share my stories. I kept finding excuses to delay and avoid. It was only when I started believing in the value of the stories I was telling, believing that the message I wanted to share mattered more than how perfect I sounded, believing that there were people out there who would genuinely listen and find value, that things changed. I stopped obsessing over having a perfect voice and focused instead on being honest and delivering value. And you know what? The feedback I got was overwhelmingly positive. People said they liked the authenticity and warmth in my voice. My beliefs had literally changed my reality. So take care of your beliefs as if they were your most precious assets. Stop trash-talking yourself. Stop giving so much power to negative voices from the outside. Instead, nourish your beliefs with small pieces of evidence. Every tiny win, every compliment, every time you push through a challenge, acknowledge it. Those are the bricks that build a solid wall of confidence. Affirm positive things to yourself. I can do this. I am worthy. I am on the right path. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who will? Core point number 3. Small, consistent actions every day create massive success. This might be the boring one, but it's also the most powerful. We're often obsessed with huge breakthroughs and overnight success stories. But in reality, every great success is built on countless tiny actions repeated patiently and consistently over time. Think about a single drop of water so small, so weak. One drop can't do much. But over millions of years, billions of drops falling on the same spot can carve straight through solid rock. Or think about building a house. Nobody finishes it in one day. You lay one brick at a time, carefully and patiently. And then, after a while, a full structure stands where there used to be nothing. Take this YouTube channel of mine, for example. In the beginning, nobody watched. Views where tiny subscribers were literally countable on one hand. There were plenty of moments I wanted to quit. It really did feel like I was talking to thin air. But I told myself, I don't need to create a 1,000,000-view video overnight. I just need to write a bit of script today, record a few lines today, tweak a small edit today. Learn one new thing about filming or audience engagement today. Those small, seemingly insignificant steps, repeated over and over, created an enormous push over time. Every finished video was another brick. Every comment, every share was another little boost. And then, after a while, when I looked back, I realized I had come an incredibly long way, without even noticing it day to day. So how do you apply this principle? Don't wait for inspiration to strike. Don't wait until you have a big chunk of free time to finally start that big project. Set action steps so small, you almost can't say no to them. Read for 5 minutes a day. Do 10 minutes of light exercise. Write one sentence for the script. Send one outreach email. No matter how tired you are, these tiny actions are so small that you don't really have a good excuse not to do them. And when you do them, no matter how small they seem, acknowledge your effort. Celebrate the little wins. Because it's exactly that steady accumulation, that quiet consistency, that eventually turns into a powerful current, carrying you toward the success you've always wanted. And those are the 3 core points I want you to carry with you from certain success. Number 1. Clarity gives you direction. You have to know where you want to go. 2. Belief gives you fuel. You have to believe you can get there. 3. Small, consistent actions give you momentum. You have to actually move one step at a time. These 3 things may sound simple, but they are the backbone of any lasting success, not just in your career, but in your personal life as well. They're a framework, a system you can apply no matter what your goal is, big or small. After this journey of exploring the book with me, what matters most to you? What are you going to apply first in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd really love to hear your experiences and takeaways. Thank you so much for walking this whole path with me. I hope these sharings haven't just given you knowledge, but have also inspired you to start building the most successful version of yourself. So we've reached the end of a long journey together, a journey exploring the core principles and powerful strategies tucked inside the book, Certain Success. I know spending this much time reflecting, breaking down every angle, every idea, isn't always easy. But I genuinely hope that every minute you invested into this video has given you seeds of ideas, sparks of motivation, and valuable insights. Truly, I hope everything we've discussed, every lesson from Certain Success, doesn't just stop at information intake. Because, as we've seen throughout this entire book, success is not some mystical, distant destination or a stroke of luck that happens out of nowhere. Success is the result of intentional actions carried out consistently, step by step, creating an irreversible chain reaction. It's like pushing the very first domino and then watching the entire line fall in perfect sequence. And now it's time to turn all this knowledge into real power in your life. I want you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes or simply look directly at the screen and think about tomorrow. Just tomorrow. After everything we've explored and analyzed together, what will be the first domino action you'll take to spark the chain reaction of your own success? What is the smallest, simplest, most doable step you can take to ignite your forward momentum? Remember, it doesn't have to be something big or life-changing right away. Sometimes it's just giving yourself 15 extra minutes in the morning to plan instead of scrolling social media, or sending an important email you've been putting off, or reading one more chapter instead of watching TV, or taking a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Whatever it is, make sure it's specific, it's actionable, and it's something you can do tomorrow. I'm truly, genuinely excited to read and draw inspiration from your decisions. Share them in the comments below. I believe that when you write your commitment down, its power multiplies. And who knows, your first domino action might be the spark that inspires someone else to take their first step too. Don't hesitate, leave your mark below. If you feel that this video, this journey through Certain Success, has brought you even a little bit of value, a fresh perspective, a burst of motivation, or newfound confidence in your ability to shape your own success, then please take just one precious second to hit the like button. That small action doesn't just help YouTube's algorithm spread this video to more people searching for their own path to success. It's also a huge encouragement, a priceless affirmation for me and my team, so we can continue investing time and energy to create high-quality, meaningful content like this in the future. Every like from you is a message that what we're doing matters. And if you don't want to miss any similar videos, if you want more deep book breakdowns, more mindset strategies, more business insights, and more transformative tools I'll be sharing, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the very first to know when new videos drop. Join our community where we learn together, grow together, and build our own certain success. Oh, and before you go, I have a small gift for you. A helpful tool that I believe will support you tremendously as you begin applying everything we've learned. To help you truly convert the ideas and strategies from certain success into clear, actionable, measurable steps, I've personally created a free personal action plan template. This template is designed to help you pinpoint your exact domino action outline. Your next steps break down your big goal into smaller tasks, and most importantly, track your daily progress. It will be your compass, a companion to help you stay motivated and consistent. You can download it completely free using the link in the description. Don't miss it. Consider it your first step toward turning today's insights into tomorrow's results. And if you feel called to dive deeper into any topic we touched on today, whether it's how to build unbreakably consistent habits, how to overcome the fear that always comes at the beginning of a new action chain, or the secrets to maintaining your momentum even when obstacles appear, then I strongly recommend checking out my next video, Building Golden Habits: 5 Steps to Create a Sustainable Life. That video goes deep into the psychology behind habit formation and provides practical strategies to help you turn any domino action into a permanent part of your routine. You can find it right here on the screen or in the suggested card above and in the description below. Keep going, keep learning, keep growing. Remember, success is not a mystery reserved for a lucky few. Success is the result of choice, commitment, and most importantly, constant, continuous action. Every single day that you have the opportunity to push that first domino. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until everything feels perfect. Start today, even with the smallest step, because those tiny steps are the ones that eventually create the greatest achievements. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through certain success. I'm Wealth Rise Stories, and I believe wholeheartedly in the limitless potential within every one of us. See you in the next videos. Take action and go succeed.